Hey everyone, and welcome to A Day in My Life. I'm doing kind of a day in my life vlog and also a what I eat in a day mashup. And so in this video, I'm going to show you a lot of the delicious food that I cooked on this day, plus the recipes. But it's also kind of a work from home day. I had an interesting call with Instagram, so I'll tell you all about that later. And then I also did some cleaning and household chores. I went to the grocery store and I filmed a grocery haul, so you can see the stuff that I got as well. And I just kind of took you around my day today to kind of show you the stuff that I thought was worth sharing. So I hope that you enjoy this video. I hope that it gives you lots of good ideas. Thank you to Harry's for teaming up with me on this video. Later on, I'll show you how you can get a trial set for just $3. And with all of that said, let's go ahead and start this day in my life. On the days when I don't want to cook breakfast, I focus on just kind of assembling something quick. And for me, this is usually a yogurt bowl with lots of fruit and granola. So I started with coconut yogurt. Then I'll top it with fresh fruit, and in the summertime there is so much produce that is in season and fresh and juicy and vibrant, so add as much as I can in there, as well as some granola or crunchy cereal. This one is very, very good, and I kind of had like a peanut butter and jelly thing going on accidentally because the berries and the fruit was kind of jam-like, and then you get a really nice peanut butter flavor. It's kind of like a salty peanut butter rather than a sweet peanut butter, which I love. And then I added actual peanut butter, hemp seeds, and a little agave. So this just took like 3 minutes to put together. Really, really easy, but man, was it good. If you have picky eaters in your home, a good way to incorporate more nuts and seeds into their diet is into a bowl like this, because it has the crunchy elements from the granola. So the seeds kind of blend in and it all gets mixed together with the peanut butter and the yogurt and the fruit. And it's just really, really good. So that's a great hack. After breakfast, I walked to the grocery store and I went to Whole Foods on this day. I tend to go to a few different places, but I really just needed some produce and also some cold items. I grabbed a spaghetti squash. I love putting this in with pasta. I don't use it instead of the noodles, but I love to add it to a dish for an extra veggie. Then these sweet potatoes were huge and looked delicious, so I grabbed 2 of those, and every time I go to the store, I get a different green. Sometimes it's chard, sometimes it's spinach. Today it was kale. One of my favorite things about summer is that the produce is incredible, especially the tomatoes. They're so sweet and juicy this time of year, so I got a pint of those, as well as some tempeh. And then I love having different green vegetables on hand, but it's hard to keep them all fresh at the same time, so I load up my freezer, plus it's a lot more affordable that way. So I do broccoli, green beans, and spinach most of the time, and the spinach is great for pasta, soup, but also my morning smoothie. And then I got almond milk, and I also got Oatly on this day. I don't always get this because it's a little bit pricey, but it was on sale, as well as the pump food. This was also on sale, and a lot of you told me that you love to cook this the same way that you do tofu. I have since followed suit, and I could not agree more. It's delicious, it's super high protein, really satiating, and it has a great texture. In the description box, I linked my free grocery list that I made, and you can pick whatever color you want, print it out, and that way you can have a really easy to follow list the next time you go to the store. I woke up really early on this day, so this was kind of like a mid-morning snack before starting work for the day, and it was just the classic apple peanut butter combo. This doesn't fill me up, it's not filling in that way, but it is really good for kind of leveling out my energy. It's got a good mix of carbs, fiber, protein, fat, all the good stuff. So this was perfect, sweet and salty, and so easy. So now I'm gonna have a call with Instagram. Actually, they're doing calls with different creators to talk about strategy. So this is gonna be a really cool opportunity for me to learn actually what's happening from Instagram. And hopefully it will help me to be able to spread the message a little bit more about like my recipes and about veganism and the vegan lifestyle, because that's primarily what I use Instagram for. So that would be really cool. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then after that, I'm gonna spend the majority of my afternoon at my desk editing. I have quite a lot that I need to get through today, and so I'm kind of mentally motivating myself by telling myself that if I get all of this done, I will have plenty of time this evening to have kind of like a refreshing pamper night, because it's been a while. I just feel like there's a lot of dry shampoo in my hair. I want to exfoliate and shave and moisturize. I just want to refresh. You know that feeling when you just feel kind of blah? And so I'm gonna go clean my bathroom before I sit down to do some work. I find that whenever I plan to pamper in the evening, if my bathroom is a mess and I have to like clean the tub and I'm tired, it's the end of the day, it's just not gonna happen. So what I like to do, I've mentioned this in videos before I think, is I'll go in and make my bathroom all really nice and clean. Just spend like 10 minutes tidying it up. I will replace the razor blade on my razor. I will put a candle in there, make sure the tub is nice and clean, wipe all the counters clean. I'll just do little things to kind of make it feel like a relaxing space at the end of the day, so that when I'm done with my work day, I can really just pamper and take a nice bath and relax, as opposed to feeling like I have to do another chore at the end of a long day. So that is the plan for today and what I've been up to so far. I'm gonna go clean my bathroom now, and I wanted to say thank you to Harry's for partnering with me on this video. Harry's is the razor that I use and have been using for over a year, and it's because it is the best razor I've ever used. I used to get a lot of irritation on my calves, like on just the lower part of my calf really, and it wasn't like razor bumps, it was like really dry skin and irritation, and I thought it was allergies, I thought it was my detergent, did not know what it was. I really do think it was, at least in part, because of the razor that I was using. Like, it was just constantly irritating my skin, and I think that because ever since I started using this, I have not had any issues with dry skin. I think it's because the razor blades themselves are super sharp, really well made, and because it has this rubber textured grip and like a very nicely weighted handle, I just feel very comfortable using it. I get a much closer shave, and I think it's really helped out my skin. I do think that some people think that Harry's is just for men. I know that I've gotten that question in the comments when I've talked about Harry's in the past. They do not make razors just for men. They make razors for everyone. They're actually really passionate about making fairly priced razors for everyone. There's no pink tax, there's no, outrageous price tag. They're just really nice quality, well-made razors at an extremely affordable price. And they have a 100% money-back guarantee, so you can feel good about giving them a try. And I also really like that Harry supports some really incredible causes, and 1% of their global profits goes to helping veterans and LGBTQ plus in need. So if you guys want to try Harry's, you can try it for just $3 by using the link in the description box below. That will get you their trial set, which has the 5-blade razor, the weighted handle, a blade cover, and their shave gel. All of that comes for just $3. So it is such an incredible deal. This is literally my favorite razor, and I think you guys will really love it too. You can use it on your face, you can use it on your body. I use it on both. It works really, really well, and I think you guys are gonna love it. So click that link below to try Harry's for $3. And now I'm gonna go have my call with Instagram. That's the plan. I'll see you later. Before my call, I made a quick lunch, and on this day, I just reheated leftovers. This is some barbecue jackfruit that I made in my last video for my barbecue jackfruit sandwiches. To make it a little more filling, I added a can of black beans. It's about a cup of black beans, I think. Adds a little more fiber, protein, carbs, just to make it a little more satiating. And then I warmed that up with barbecue sauce and put it onto 3 tortillas. Then I had some red onion in the fridge, so I sprinkled that on top. And then one of my favorite ways to zhuzh up any kind of taco is with a little bit of shredded cabbage, some corn, which I always have in the freezer, and cilantro. This really makes any, even if it's just like a plain bean taco, just really gives it a nice texture, makes them look really colorful, and especially if you drizzle my 1-minute sauce on top. You want to start with tahini. This is a really kind of luscious, light, runny, silky smooth tahini, so I recommend it a lot. And then I will add some fresh lime. And then you just add water, and that's the base of the sauce. I just do 1 tablespoon to start and stir it, and just like when you make any other kind of tahini sauce, it's going to look weird at first. Like, it kind of gets really thick and it goes from being smooth to not smooth, and you're gonna think you kind of messed up, but trust me, you'll just slowly incorporate 1 tablespoon at a time and stir as you go, and in under a minute you will have this silky, super smooth, delicious base. And then you can just season it however you like. I like to do onion granules, garlic granules, smoked paprika, and nutritional yeast. And this works so well on these tacos, but I also ended up using it for dinner on this night, and I like to keep a batch of this in the fridge just to put on, everything from grain bowls to salads. I use it as a dip for veggies. It's really good and highly nutritious as well. This lunch took under 10 minutes to make, and it was really flavorful. If you want to make this at home, you could use a store-bought jackfruit like Upton's, or you could just mix some vegan chicken with barbecue sauce, or just do the black beans with barbecue sauce. That would be really good. And if you want my barbecue jackfruit recipe, I will put it in the description box below because it is so good and very easy to make. There's so many ways to use social media as a tool for activism, and that's how I like to use it. And so what I do primarily is I talk about veganism because I believe so strongly that it is very important for individual health, but also for the animals and for the planet. There are so many good reasons to go vegan or eat more plant-based meals, but I know that there are kind of a lot of barriers to entry. It can feel really overwhelming. And so what I try to use social media for is to make it look fun, approachable, practical, most importantly, and enjoyable, because I think that is how more people are going to kind of warm up to it and feel excited about changing their daily habits, like what they eat. So if you also use social media as a form of activism and you want to make sure that your message reaches as many people as possible, then it's really important to be consistent. That's the first thing we talked about, is the importance of consistency, posting at the same time on the same days regularly for a few months. And this basically tells the algorithm like, hey, this is when I'm posting, make sure people see it. And it takes a while for the algorithm to learn that about you. So being consistent is key. You can use a scheduling app to make this easier. Hashtags are also important. She said that a lot of people are confused about hashtags, but 15 per post is a good number. And then she said that make sure the hashtags are relevant to the person or audience you're trying to reach. So, if it's too specific, like a lot of times I would do breakfast recipes and then I would hashtag some of the ingredients like almond butter or paprika. Most of the people I'm trying to reach aren't following hashtag paprika, but they are following like breakfast recipes or breakfast meal prep recipes, that kind of thing. So think more about the person and audience rather than being too specific and niche about the actual photo. And finally, for stories, 1 to 6 is a good number with a minimum of 1 a day. And you want to keep them pretty short and sweet because statistically, people don't watch the whole story all the way through. They click through. And if it's a lot of posts, they can get overwhelmed and click out. This is not from Instagram. This is just from me. But I will say that I think the times that I have had the most impact is when I really am just speaking from the heart, sharing things that I'm really passionate about. And I think that your vibe really does attract your tribe. So try not to get too fixated on growth and numbers. It is important, especially as an activist, to make sure that your message gets seen and heard and that it's out there. But at the same time, like the people in your everyday life, the people that you talk to on Instagram and your DMs, like it's not about the numbers, it's about the impact and sharing and connecting and inspiring and also learning. You learn from your community, and building a community online is kind of what social media is all about. It's a social platform. So I know it can be overwhelming sometimes, but just do your best to just be authentic and to try to have fun with it. And consistency, I think, is probably the thing that I'm going to work on the most. So I hope that was helpful. After work on this day, I went ahead and meal prepped one of my favorite dinners of the moment. This seriously is one of those meals that just makes me feel so good, and it's super easy to make. So I just started by making some lentils. I'm just going to add water, bring it to a boil, and then when it's boiling, I lower the heat, cover it, and let it hang out for about 20 minutes. I'll do the same thing with some rice. I'll just do a pinch of salt, some water, bring it to a boil, and then cover it and let it hang out also for 20 minutes. And during that time, I have some sweet potatoes in the oven, or you could do the air fryer. And these sweet potatoes are so tasty and flavorful. They're a great standalone side dish recipe that you could use with a number of different meals. But in this dish in particular, they just make all the flavors pop and kind of tie everything together. So I'm just going to season this with paprika, oregano, cumin, salt, and pepper. I toss that together with olive oil and I mix it together with my hands, like really massage the spices into the potatoes to make sure that they're well coated. And then that goes into the oven. So all of that is kind of doing its thing on the stove. Meanwhile, I'm snacking on cherry tomatoes, which are so good this time of year. And when the rice is done, I like to just kind of fluff it up so that it doesn't stick together. Another way to prevent sticking is to make sure you rinse it really well before you cook it. And then in that same pan, I'm just going to steam some kale. It only takes like 3 minutes to steam, so I do that last. And then I'm ready to plate. I start with a layer of rice. I did brown rice on this day, but you could do any grain that you like. Then I'll sprinkle on my lentils, which are super flavorful because they cooked with the onion and the bay leaf and a pinch of salt, so that really kind of infuses them with this delicious flavor. Then the sweet potatoes really are the star of the show that kind of help tie this dish together, and they've got that really crispy, savory outside with the paprika and the oregano and the cumin, but then they're really silky creamy on the inside and slightly sweet. I finish that with the kale and then a drizzle of the same sauce that I made earlier, which really ties all the flavors together. I'll top it with cilantro and walnuts, and I personally am of the belief that toppings are not just garnish. They can really elevate a fairly simple dish and just make it into something special. And that's definitely the case here. The walnuts provide a very necessary crunch and help to kind of tie everything together and really complements the creaminess of the sweet potato and the lentils. And this is one of those dishes that looks a lot fancier than it is, but in reality, you put the potatoes in the oven, the rice kind of does its own thing on the stove, same thing with the lentils. You just quickly steam the greens and then you pile it all on a plate with lots and lots of sauce. Like the more sauce, the better. And again, that sprinkle of walnuts is just a really nice finishing touch, as was the glass of wine that I had it with and the beautiful candle that I lit to just kind of create a nice, relaxing vibe. So it's a little bit too late and I'm kind of too hot for a bath, so I think instead I'm going to take a shower, but this is the deep conditioner that I'm going to use. It's from Function of Beauty and it's in the eucalyptus scent. So I'll shampoo and then do a thick layer of this and put my hair in a bun while I like shave and do everything else, and then rinse it out at the end. And then I'm going to put this face mask on when I get into the shower first and let it sit until the very end. And it has these little kind of like grains in it, like it's kind of gritty, so it exfoliates when you wash it off. And so I'm going to use this as kind of like a little detox mask, and that's pretty much all I'm going to do tonight. But I think this is going to be really nice. I love Osea's masks. And that is how I finished my day, but I hope that you enjoyed seeing a day in my life and all of the food that I cooked on this day. The recipes are in the description box below. That's also where you will find a link to my Instagram and to check out Harry so you can get the trial set for $3. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss a future video, and I will see you in a video very soon. Bye everyone.